Tariff concerns are all the talk today. It spans from the farm to the table. And with the 25% tariff tax on trades with Canada and Mexico, farmers here in Missouri and Illinois are understandably nervous. First Alert 4's environmental reporter Avery Martinez is following those tariff developments. Avery.
Right. Well, let's start here with some data, and we're going to focus on Missouri. The state's Department of Agriculture says 3 of the nations now at the center of those tariffs are major trading partners of Missouri. And of course, that's Canada, Mexico, and you can see here China. Now, if we look, we see that Mexico and China and Canada are all part of that top 10 group, which is where a lot of our experts go. It's not exactly clear right now what order those come in. Couldn't get that information by this newscast. But let's focus on the Western Hemisphere alone over here. The Ag Department says that last year alone, the value of Missouri agriculture globally was over $2 billion just out of this area. The majority made of soybeans and corn. And federal sources say that Canada was the largest purchaser of U.S. exports in 2022, almost 17% of all exports nationwide. And Mexico was second, China third. So you can imagine the impact, different ways those tariffs heading out and into the U.S. might affect farmers.
The first thing I think when I think of tariffs is lower prices for our members, farmers. That's the first thing I think about. And then secondly, what I think about is what's the real solution? And that real solution is policies that protect farmers and also protect consumers. And that policy, one of them, I mean, and these are complicated subjects, you know, these policy conversations we're having.
And for MRCC, the solution is getting a federal farm bill focused on farmers, passed, especially focused on the small family farms. And Tim also had an op-ed published today in the Post-Dispatch outlining a lot of those small farm concerns.
Yeah, and so you were talking about the farm bill and policy. How do they feel that a farm bill or maybe other policy would help?
Right. Well, MRCC feels that effective farm bill legislation will help the growers and the buyers get competitive pricing and help alleviate some financial challenges facing farmers right now today. Now, Tim doesn't feel that tariffs are going to help because the impacts could hit family farms hard. I spoke to some farmers today who didn't want to go on camera, and they did share concerns about tariffs and how prices could affect crop insurance this year. They were also worried about how tariffs could affect the stock market and then ag markets and on and on. And farmers were also worried about crop prices and the cost of raising crops because that could change because of these new tariffs, which has been a discussion in ag circles for much of this year. And recently, I interviewed a Missouri farmer and found out about her thoughts on potential tariffs.
A lot of the soybeans that we sell go on the river and go down to Mexico. So tariffs that were talked about, those are scary for us. But at the same time, I think we also have to support an administration that is trying to do better things for agriculture.
This is obviously a very complex topic, and this is only day one. And I do want to note that China has announced new tariffs focused specifically on American agriculture. So we'll have to see what happens next.
Yeah, understandably a waiting game at this point. We'll, of course, keep you posted. We'll also have a roundup of the tariff impacts on agriculture coming up on First Alert 4 at 6. Avery will outline impacts to fertilizer, future harvests, and family farms. Thank you for your reporting. Turning now